90-Day Fiancé's Julia Trubkina reveals if she's bringing parents to US. After losing son. Julia Trubkina from 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Revealed whether her parents are on their way to America to live with her after she lost her dear family member. Julia and Brandon got married in 2020. Julia was unhappy with her living situation, which involved staying on Brandon's parents' farm. She adjusted to the new life, and Julia found a career in training the dogs that the elderly couple was breeding. However, Julia and Brandon had to deal with trust and financial issues, more of which will be documented during 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After? Season 9. Julia expressed her desire for her divorced parents to come to America, but Brandon was against the idea. Now there's a brand new update. Julia recently shared a post on Instagram showing her with her parents and her brother. She revealed she was in Belgrade, Serbia, with her parents but never shared the purpose of her visit. In the comments section, one of Julia's followers, @mygenevab, asked her, "Did you bring your parents to America?" Julia replied, "We will see," with 3 crossed finger emojis. However, Julia later shared an Instagram story showing her going to an interview for a visa with her mom and dad. What visa interview for Julia Trubkina's parents means? Julia and Brandon's ongoing tensions reveal deeper issues. Julia and Brandon have a long history of miscommunication, and it goes beyond her struggles with English. Before Julia moved to the US, she broke Brandon's trust by cheating with her ex-boyfriend. Although they were on a break at the time, Brandon never truly forgave her, even 5 years later. He has also disagreed with many of her major life choices, such as not wanting children and wanting her parents to come to the US. Julia's parents are divorced and often argue, which made Brandon uncomfortable with the idea of them living in the same house. He may have also been worried about being financially responsible for them, especially since Julia had not yet established her pet services business when they filmed The Last Resort Season 2. Feeling lonely in the US, Julia likely wanted her parents for emotional support. She applied for their tourist visas without telling Brandon, but he reacted as if they were moving to Virginia permanently. Our take on Julia Trubkina hoping to bring parents to US. Julia's silent struggles hint at deeper marriage issues. Julia has broken down in therapy and online but rarely shares the full story. Recently, her sadness came from losing her beloved dog Simba to a stroke. She saw him as her son. With Julia openly battling depression, emotional support has become even more important, especially as Brandon remains distant and frustrated. While the couple may reveal more on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, Julia attending her parents' visa appointment alone, without Brandon, speaks volumes about the growing distance in their marriage and hints at deeper issues they have yet to fully confront. Hope she is okay. 90-Day Fiancé's Sophie shares disturbing photos after alleged assault incident. 90-Day Fiancé star Sophie Sierra is sharing details of an alleged assault on her by a psychopath. Sophie is a British reality TV star first introduced in 90-Day Fiancé Season 10 when she moved to the US to marry Rob Warren. Sophie had trust issues with Rob and found him to be ambitionless. She still gave him a chance when they tried couples therapy, but Sophie had proof that Rob was unfaithful. Sophie continued to live in America and was recently rumored to be dating Chantel Everett's ex-husband, Pedro Jimeno. Sophie had been looking forward to her Los Angeles move and celebrating the success of her new business when she had to face a traumatic experience. Shaboodi reposted Sophie's Instagram stories where she clicked pictures of herself with bloody lips. She had shared several stories from her night out at a restaurant in Austin before she wrote that she was assaulted last night by a psychopath. Sophie added that she has multiple stitches on her face and is currently recovering from the incident, both physically and mentally. Sophie mentioned she won't do any of her scheduled streams. Since police were involved, she refused to share more information of the incident. "All I will say is evil people will always get their karma," she continued. What Sophie mentioning evil people and karma in her post means. Sophie's words have fans concerned about her well-being. Sophie and Rob split over 2 years ago when she walked out of their Austin home. They kept trying to get back together for over a year, but Sophie still seemed hesitant. She decided she would continue living in the US. However, the couple is yet to be divorced officially. Sophie has kept denying rumors that she has a sugar daddy. She is independent and has several sources of income, from OnlyFans to her fitness brand. However, Sophie lives alone in Texas and may have had safety concerns. These older IG stories showed that she was at Nido at the Lorraine at Lady Bird Lake before the alleged assault. She did not talk about who was accompanying her or when the unknown person allegedly hurt her. Sophie's reluctance to talk about the person and reveal their identity could suggest that it was someone she knew. Moreover, her using words like karma to describe the incident could possibly mean it was a person she trusted. Our take on Sophie's claims that she was hurt by a psychopath. Sophie hints her injury was an intentional attack. 90 Day Fiancé star Sophie has filed a police report and will only speak publicly about the incident once she is legally permitted to do so. However, the situation has left her with a facial injury that may impact her ability to earn a living. As a model, Sophie relies heavily on being in front of the camera, and working will be difficult while she recovers. She may be implying that the person allegedly targeted her face intentionally, fully aware that it could harm not only her appearance but also her confidence and career. 90 Day Fiancé, Ammani Jalassi and Matt divorce update. Is Ammani Aguirre in America now? 90 Day Fiancé's first ever thruple broke up in the finale, but has Ammani Aguirre moved to the US to marry either Ammani Jalassi or Matt after what happened? Matt and Ammani were a married couple based in San Diego, California, sharing 2 children and a decade-long relationship. Their dynamic is layered, with Matt often taking a more submissive role to Ammani, who confidently calls herself a boss *tch. Ammani is bisexual and was raised in conservative Tunisia, and she embraces her freedom to express her true self openly. Her bold personality and drive to speak her truth add a powerful dimension to their partnership, shaping their unique and evolving relationship. Matt and Ammani's marriage took a dramatic turn when they introduced Ammani, a stripper, on 90 Day Fiancé season 11. While the throuple shared a strong romantic connection, their bond was mostly maintained from afar, leaving Matt and Ammani unaware of key parts of Ammani's personal life. Hoping to take the next step, they traveled to Tijuana to spend time with her and possibly bring her into their family full-time. But things quickly went off course. Although Ammani initially wanted a polyamorous lifestyle, her growing doubts about Ammani's honesty and commitment began to unravel everything they had built. How did Ammani and Matt meet Ammani? Ammani seemingly worked at Hong Kong Gentlemen's Club. Ammani and Matt met Ammani Aguirre during a vacation in Mexico at a club. A bartender introduced them to the stripper, and despite a language barrier, the connection between the three was natural and easy. Ammani had previously shared her interest in a polyamorous relationship. Meeting Ammani felt like the right moment for both Ammani and Matt. As they got to know her, their feelings grew stronger, and they realized they had both fallen in love with her. The relationship developed naturally, and together they decided to become a thruple, building a life as 3 partners. Ammani discovered Ammani's dirty secrets on season 11. Ammani's secret identity and unfinished marriage shocked Ammani and Matt. In season 11 of 90 Day Fiancé, Ammani, who had been introduced as a single mother from Tijuana, Mexico, was revealed to have a hidden past. Her real name was disclosed as Brenda, a detail she had kept from her partners, Matt and Ammani. This revelation came to light through conversations with her ex-partner, Ray, who had previously shared a bank account with her under the name Brenda. The discovery of her real identity raised questions about her transparency and intentions within the relationship. Additionally, it was uncovered that Ammani had not legally finalized her previous marriage, leaving her technically still married. This lack of legal closure added complexity to her current relationship with Matt and Ammani, who were considering bringing her to the United States. The combination of these secrets led to significant tension and uncertainty about the future of the thruple dynamic. Matt and Ammani were left questioning Ammani's honesty and commitment, casting doubt on the viability of their unconventional relationship. Ammani chose to marry Matt. Ammani felt betrayed after Annie chose to marry Matt over her. Ammani had always dreamed of a wedding, so she was heartbroken when Annie chose to marry Matt instead of her. After the decision was made, the thruple returned to their hotel room, and Ammani found it difficult to hide her emotions. She struggled to process the fact that the woman she loved had picked someone else to share such a major commitment. Though she maintained her composure, Ammani felt deeply hurt. She still wanted to support Annie and be the partner she promised to be, but the pain of being passed over lingered beneath the surface of her support. As Ammani tried to make sense of Annie's decision, Annie questioned whether she was upset. Ammani admitted she wasn't angry, just trying to understand the choice. Annie sensed Ammani's discomfort and speculated that it stemmed from her desire to remain in control of the relationship. Ammani, however, was filled with doubt, wondering if she had pushed Annie too hard, whether emotionally or in encouraging her to come out to her family. She feared that Annie might love Matt more or prefer a traditional future with a man, leaving Ammani feeling excluded and unsure of her place. Ammani and Matt are still together. Amy appears to be in Mexico.